Everyone keeps telling you to use AI agents, but almost no one's telling you why should you? What is an agent and why should you care? So here is the honest version. An AI agent is the one employee you set up once and it shows up every day and does the work on its own. You give it a goal, unlike a chatbot, an agent has a goal and they're going to pursue that goal until they achieve it or you tell them to stop. And today I'm going to show you how to build one, a real one that I'm going to build with you that goes and finds me. So today I'm going to show you how to build one and I'm going to get it to go and find prospects for a prospective client. I realized that as small business owners, the number one thing we should be spending most of our time on is finding new revenue sources. Finding new prospects is definitely a great job for an agent because that's something that you're going to have to loop on until you figure out the best way to do it. And we're going to work backwards. We're going to say, okay, we want to find prospects that fit a certain category that we're going to turn into revenue. So no coding here. We're just going to explain a job to a new hire, which is our agent. And then we're going to see how it does it. And hello, if you're new to this channel, I'm Alice. Thank you for subscribing. I'm here to help small business owners use AI without the overwhelm and confusion as to where to start. You don't need to be a tech person to be here. I'm not a tech person, but I am a tech language speaker, and learning the language of tech is how you're going to get better at using your AI. So I'm here to do that. As a small business owner, there's just so many opportunities for AI to help you day to day. So I'm here to show you what those are and help you really reach your business goals, not so much focus on coding and tools. So today we're going to go through 3 parts: what an agent really is, the one idea that makes it work, and then we're going to build one live. An AI agent to a small business is beyond an assistant. It's an employee that you give a job to do, and they're going to keep doing that job until they do it, finish it, or you tell them to stop. So we're going from chatbot to automation and agent. A lot of us are now using definitely the chatbot. We're using automations maybe, but having an agent for the right task is how you differentiate getting those new revenue opportunities and becoming a go-getter with AI. Unlike the automation, which is very, when X happens, do Y, it's consistent, that's what you want. The agent is going to go actually complete a task and it's going to keep doing the work and checking itself until it is finished. So an agent is actually running in a loop. It's not going linear. It's the one thing that differentiates it. It's going in a circle until it gets to its actual goal, or you tell it to stop. Sometimes an agent can run for hours and hours, and then you realize, hey, I don't need to invest this many hours in doing this task. So you can stop it. At its core, every single agent is the same 3 beats. You reason, you act, you observe, and you start over until you're done. We start with a goal, the next step. If we're done, it stops. If we're not done, it continues using the tool, observe the results, and then continue the loop until it can exit it. As a result, you can see that not everything needs an agent. There are certain tasks that an agent can be really good at, and a lot of them you don't need an agent. So when people are talking about agents, don't assume that you need them because they need to fit a certain purpose. So if something on your plate is repeated or it takes multiple steps in small increments, then you can actually see if it can check being done by itself. And if it is, then you can create an agent. But if it's not repeated in small steps, then AI can give you the answer faster. You don't need to go in this loop because that also takes resources. And if you can't figure out how to check on its own if it's doing the right job, then you still need to be a part of the process. You need to approve, and it will be more manual. It's not going to be like completely automated go-getter for you. So let's take some applications of agents day to day. Email every client whose invoice is more than 7 days overdue a polite reminder. Don't double send. So it's going to read your invoices, finds who is behind and not still reminded, and drafts a note. And so you actually get people to pay you on time, which is always a struggle. Another example is fine, who still owes me an approval or document, and send a nudge with what's outstanding. We fall behind follow-ups all the time. When you have an inbox and a regular job to do day to day, you're not going to give chasing people down the same level of attention you probably should for revenue. This is going to do it for you. So you're not going to be chasing approvals. Another thing you can do is, for example, help businesses rebrand so they're actually speaking to their customers. And so you can give it a certain voice that you're looking for, and it's going to look for it until it has a list of businesses for you to look at and reach out to. One really important thing is defining when an agent is done. Otherwise, you're going to just end up in a loop that is going in the wrong direction. And then how do we know that the agent is done and has achieved the goal? We need to define that. So this is huge in software development or any development in general, even writing a book, even painting a painting, any kind of creative process. We need to figure out what does done mean, because it can keep going and going. But when do we know that we've achieved our purpose? And how are we going to know? What are the different checks we need to make sure that it's going in the direction we want it to? So you can have rules, you can have a checklist, and you want to look at it. So you have many options here. And then we can start building our first agent. And Anthropic is helping us here. If you go on GitHub, there's an Anthropic official skill called Launch Your Agent. We're going to install it right now. Always the green button for code. Copy this link here. And I'm going to do it in Visual Studio Code. I just opened a new chat. Paste it in. Okay, I'm going to install it. And then I'm going to apply it to a process. So right now, Claude Code is looking at the files that I want to install, putting it in a temporary location to analyze it before deciding where in my project structure does this file belong. And it's going to belong at the topmost level because it's for all agents that I would launch across all projects. But Claude needs to figure that out. How do you want to launch your agent installed? I usually go with the recommendations unless I have a strong opinion. Yeah, so this is why it's recommended my choice that I picked. It says it's both a real repo and globally available, which makes sense. We can launch agents across any of our folders and projects, so we should have this skill globally. So it's really important now, as you do this, that you start thinking, where do skills belong in my project hierarchy and architecture? I know it's not something exciting and it's going to take time to understand what it means, but it is important that you figure out where your skills should live over time. Okay, so we need two things. We need an Anthropic API key for your own account. So I'm pretty sure I already have that. I will just have to put it in the API key file. Make sure you put it in the file, not in the chat. Otherwise, this becomes part of your history and it can be searched. And those API keys have to be secure. They're private. Otherwise, people can use them and hack you basically in your API and potentially run up charges. So it's important that you put in the .env file. So if your skill doesn't show up, just restart the app that you're using, the Visual Studio Code. Just saw it. Launch your agent. It's right here. But welcome. Here's what we're going to do together. Figure out a few examples of the range of things this can be so you can see what's possible. A weekly opportunity scout. I already do this. But what do I want to build? So the goal of my agent is to find a list of websites in the GTA where I'm located and where my client is located. And from there, we're looking for signs for a rebranding opportunity because that's what my client does and wants a list of prospects that could get benefit from a rebrand. That is the service they want to push for future revenue. So it's asking me to tell it what else could identify these opportunities, and I describe what the client said. And what does the first version look like? Okay, 15 to 25 websites leads to start with is a good way to start just so you see what you get back, because you might be like, no, this is useless. And I not waste time and money on it. And of course, I don't want to spend money on expensive APIs like Google Maps. I didn't realize was extremely expensive. It does give you a list. It does take a lot of time. There's a lot of small businesses there probably that are not well targeted in a big list like that. So I want to explore what are the other options. The client is interested in these two segments. Okay. An Excel file is perfect with a list. Let's see how we get there. So now what is the outcome and evaluation? I don't have an example right now. Here, I'm not sure what it means. Like, I don't know what it means by a qualified lead. So I'm going to ask it. Always ask questions if you're not sure. Don't just pick something because, it ranked 1, 2, 3 for you. Usually I pick the first choice because I agree with its recommendations, but sometimes I'm like, why are you picking this? Sometimes it makes decisions based on how easy it is to execute and how cheap it is to execute instead of the best outcome for you. Okay, so these are all good qualifiers. I will agree. And then I will still ask, is it 15 a day you are giving me? Because if I get 15 qualified leads, then that's pretty good every day. I don't want to get like 15 leads a week. I want to get them every day. Okay. Depends on my trigger. Yeah. I have to decide. And usually a trigger means I pick a time of day. This should run, or cadence, a frequency. How should the agent run and at what cadence? Yeah. Weekdays. So now it's creating a plan. Okay. So now it's asking me for approval. Apply reward scout scoring spec. So it already created for this particular client a scout, what to do with the scout, read homepage and about, and compute clear value prop or not. The most important outcome is more than 15 qualified leads in the GTA in the target segment showing these symptoms of needing a rebrand. There's a score around it, sorted, and Excel file. So go to your platform. And if you have a subscription, you have this account, get API key. This one is going to be called. So it's building the folders now. I'm going to wait to enter my API key. I'm not going to show you, obviously, me entering it because it's none of your business. And I have to put it in my agent.env. And it's going to make a space for it. I'm just going to go copy paste it here. Very simple. Okay, my agent is here. This is the folder. And then here's the .env file, and I'm going to paste here. Okay, and I'm going to close this, save. And it's telling me here, do not paste the key into this chat. If it ever lands in a message, rotate it. It only belongs in that file. Okay, so it's telling me it's going to cost me between $1 to $4, depending on the model we're choosing. So roughly one of the cost of Opus, $1. This task is reading, copy, counting. We use scoring against a clear spec, which Sonnet handles well. Best money lead for high frequency scout, $2 to $5 a week on a weekday schedule. Okay, let's start with Sonnet and see what we get to. I don't trust it, to be honest. I'm double checking, triple checking. So it's about a $2 with Sonnet and 3 to 4 with Opus. So I'm going to pick Sonnet for this one. Let's take a look. It's going to be faster too, so we can see results faster. So I'm going to pick Sonnet because it's going to be faster, cheaper, and we're going to see results faster. And this would work the same in the desktop app. You could come to Claude Code and install the skill here. The same way I've installed it in Visual Studio Code, you're just not going to see as much of this happening. Okay, so it's doing it. It's a web fetch heavy job. It's telling me at least several minutes. I'll tell you the moment it finishes. It can probably go on for 15 minutes and it's going to notify me, well, when it's ready. Now, while we're waiting for Claude Code to do this, let me show you where agents live and co-work. You have something called Here Scheduled in Claude Cowork. This is the desktop app that if you have a paying plan, you have access to. You either should be living in this app if you're not comfortable with Visual Studio Code or in Visual Studio Code. But if you're not comfortable with that, the app will do the same. You can install skills here in Cowork or in Code. And if you want to already launch an agent, you have agents pre-made for you in a sense. You don't need to install the skill or anything. You can start here with new task. You can create it with Claude, kind of like I created it with the agent in there in Claude Code, but same thing here, or you can set it up manually. But it's the same goal. There's a scheduled task. It happens at a certain frequency and it has a goal. So I have one set up at 8 a.m. every day for a daily briefing. I have a computer cleanup every Sunday at 9, Monday content ideas, quarterly business audit. The goal is obviously to execute the business audit and to let me know about it. So it will do that at 9 a.m. on every first quarter. So in July 1st is next. Same thing with monthly invoices, a monthly expenses analysis. It does it at a certain cadence and it has a goal. It's a task. In code, it will be in routines. So this is the same as scheduled. So I have a daily apartment hunt. This is an agent that is looking for new apartment listings in Toronto on 4 websites. And even if we go into console, we have these managed agents right here. So we have pre-done set agents. And the cool thing about this is that it's in the cloud. It's not on your computer, which means that you don't have to have this app open or you don't have to have your computer open and not sleeping. It could be happening while your computer is sleeping in the middle of the night. You can run agents in the cloud because it's on a server somewhere, not on your machine. So create an agent, and here you start describing your agent. And you also have templates. You can have a blank agent. We have a deep researcher, structured extractor, incident commander, field monitor, support agent examples. So it gives you a preset definition for that agent, defining its task. And you can, of course, change it and then create the agent here. So it's still going to run. It's going to take some time. That's the joy of agents. They're not quick tasks. That's why it's a loop, because it's going to keep doing this until it gets results. So we'll see in a little bit what that is. Some best practices here. What separates a good agent from a runaway one, which means like the loop never ends. So the good ones need to have like a very solid checkable goal. If it needs to know what done is, a hard stop, the right tools, connecting it to the right places, memory, remembering past runs so it gets better and never repeats itself. This is really important. It should be learning. A separate checker, a plan first if big. So if it's a big multi-step job, then you have to break it down. Otherwise, the agents are not going to be the best quality-wise. A human gate, anything that's of course client-facing, you should always have an extra layer of approval before it goes out. That is just a best practice with anything AI and client-facing. And cost, if they're plugged into APIs, make sure that you have caps and budgets because you never know how far the agent can go. So that's a big cautionary tale. Make sure that your APIs are capped and your budgets are set. So no bad surprises in your inbox. The easiest way is to start with one small task so you know it's working and then add to it. And then skip agents running 24/7. It's not a good idea. And if they are going to run 24/7, they need to be in the cloud. You have to have a limit. And I'm going to give you this website so you can figure out how you can make agents work for you. You'll have access to this in the description. Okay, so the agent gave me results. It checked them. It thinks it's done great. Let's take a look at the file. There it is in my folder. We're doing the reveal together. I haven't seen it yet. So now, company name, Gus Ritchie Architect, website, architecture firm, WEU ratio 5, score 79. The higher the score, the better it is. Hero leads with, we are Gus Ritchie Architect. Body says, we specialize, we take, we like. So we have a lot of options here, and we have the contact, either a phone number or an email. So this is a really great starting point. I'm happy with this agent. It's going to give me quality leads. I'm going to double check them. I'm going to look at their websites. Are they the right candidate? And then I'm going to continue refining this agent. So that is an AI agent. You saw me do it just now. It took a total of 15 minutes. An employee that I set up once and loop until you get it done. And so you see the output that I received with very minimal instruction is already on the right track. And I'm definitely going to start using it. I put everything from this video into one free plain English page, what an agent is, the loop, the task to start with, how to build your first one. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. So grab it and subscribe and let me know what kind of content you're enjoying with AI. And if you want one small doable AI move for your business every week, subscribe to my Zero Overwhelmed newsletter on the same page. One email a week, no spamming. If this made agents finally make sense, please like, comment, let me know, and tell me what kind of agent you see yourself building first. Start small, and we'll see you next time.